We are on the Merry and Bright Christmas bracelet stack, and I'm ready. I got some bracelet stacks. I'm ready to show you how to make all sorts of bracelets for all sorts of holidays. I'm excited to see you all, so thank you very much for coming. As Carrie said, there is information online, so you can sign up for all of the upcoming winter workshop classes as well. There's a couple more days left through December 12th, and then you can watch all the recordings that you want to online whenever you want to. So if I'm going too fast, or if I'm going too slow, or if you need to take a break and go get something, if you can't catch it live, you can always come back and watch our pre-recorded videos or the recording of this class so that you can catch up and make all the projects, all 12 of the days for winter workshop. So my name's Megan and I work at Michaels, and my job at Michaels is to come up with ideas for in-store classes so that we can teach people how to make all different kinds of crafts. So I have a really fun job. I love making things. Oh, you might be able to see my penguin. I made a penguin with the winter workshop craft stick, popsicle stick characters the other day. So you can go back and watch that video too if you want to join me and make that craft. As Carrie said, you can ask me questions or you can make comments and tell me things if you want to in the Q&A section, since this is a webinar. And it looks like there's several people already in there and chatting. So if you have questions, if you need any help, let me or Carrie know, and we are happy to help you. So it looks like we have a good crowd. I'm hoping you're from lots of different places. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and it is not snowing today, but I heard that it was snowing in Buffalo, New York, and I wonder if it was snowing where you live. So let me know in the Q&A if you want to tell me about that. And in the meantime, let's go over to my other camera, and I'm going to show you all of my supplies and the things that you're going to want in order to make our Christmas or holiday merry stack of bracelets. So I've been making bracelets all year long because I am obsessed with making bracelets, and maybe you are too. So I hope that you've joined me. And all that you'll need is one of these really cool kits. So this is a kit that they sell. It comes with the elastic, it comes with some charms, and it comes with lots of cool beads. There's the stocking. There's also one that kind of looks like an ornament. And I think there are maybe two other ones. So these are the two packs that I'm going to be using in our class today. But there are other packs too. So if you have a different pack, all the bracelets work the same way. It's just a matter of mixing and matching. So I see in the Q&A that there is no snow in Missouri and there was sleet in Montana. So that's the weather update so far for winter workshop. And tonight, this is being filmed on December 7th, is the first night of Hanukkah. So if you have friends who celebrate Hanukkah, or if you celebrate Hanukkah, you can make some cool bracelets for Hanukkah. You can also make some New Year's festive bracelets. Check out that disco ball. That's one of my favorites. Or if you have friends or you celebrate Christmas, you can also make some green and white and red ones. So there's lots of bracelets for lots of holidays. And all you need is one of the kits and a pair of scissors. If you have a little bit of glue, that could be cool too, because you can glue your knots and keep track of that. You don't really need a toothpick and a ruler, but if you have one, you're welcome to use it. Now, if you're sharing your beads with someone else, sometimes it's nice to have a paper plate because then the beads don't roll all over your table. But if you're not sharing with anyone today and you can take them straight out of the bin, you can do it that way too, because they're all neatly sorted so far. So we are going to make some different bracelets. Let me check and make sure that we have any more questions. Just one more update about snow. No snow today in Ohio. Thank you for adding that. So let us know in the Q&A where you're at and what your weather's like while we make these bracelets together. So I just want to take a second and show you this first kit with the ornament. I made a bunch of these different ones using this kit. So you have a bunch of different kind of clay-like beads or plastic-like beads, and you have some cool charms. So here's one that has one of those charms on it, that cool candy cane. It's got some fun different color shades in there. And then we also have, this one was made using that ornament. So it's got some cool peppermint-like candy kind of feel to it. And then these little beads in the stocking, you can make them red, white, and green if you want just a Christmas feel, or if you want to go for all these really fantastic colors I've been showing you, check out this stack on my hand. I love this little charm that says Merry, and there's a little charm with a wreath on it. And you can just go wild with the colors because Christmas and winter can be whatever color you want. So lots of bracelets, lots of different styles. I'm going to kind of keep these around so that you can see them. And I'm going to move this direction sheet. If you want a direction sheet like this, the PDF is on michaels.com/winter workshop. And you can get that. And again, if I go too fast or too slow, or if I lose you for some reason, you can always come back to those directions and make them later. So here's a bunch of my bracelets. And I'm going to decide which one to start with. And I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the ornament. So if you have the same set as me, you can make the same kind of bracelet as me, or you can make something different. So it's up to you. But this ornament kit comes with some elastic that's clear. My other ornament comes with this white elastic. So both of these are really great for making your bracelets. They have very small pieces, so be careful, of course. And like I said, I sometimes use this paper plate in order to kind of help me keep all my stuff organized. Now, you might have also noticed in my bracelet selection so far that some of my bracelets make patterns and some of my bracelets are really random. So some of them are nice and evenly spaced and everything's the same. And some of them I just like to go for it and throw some things together and see what happens. So if you're feeling random or if you're feeling very ordered, you can do whatever you want to with your bracelet. So I'm going to use these small disc beads. I love these. These are very cool. So you can use any color string. And if you don't have one of these kits, but you do have some beads, all you need is something stretchy that's going to fit into there. And then you can have your stuff ready for a bracelet. Now, if you're sharing materials with somebody, what I recommend is wrapping the elastic around your wrist and leaving about a couple extra inches away from your wrist before you cut it. And then you can probably imagine that if I tried to put a bead on this elastic right now, it would fall off because there's no knot, there's nothing going on here, so it would just completely fall off. So one way you can take care of that is if you have a little piece of any kind of tape, you can make a little flag at the bottom. So I just folded my tape over in half like that. And now I have like a stopper at the bottom. So it's not going to fall off. It's just going to stop right there at that piece of tape. Now, if you're not sharing with anyone right now, you can kind of leave the big bundle and you can start stringing your beads onto this elastic and just leave it here and not really cut the string until you're ready to be finished. But if you're sharing with someone, a good idea is to kind of make it about, I would say about a foot, 12 inches or so. Put a little piece of tape or something at the end in order to stop it from going off. And then you're ready to start beading. So I'm going to use some of these cool green beads, and I'm going to use some of these cool red beads, and I'm going to use some of these cool white beads. Now these beads are awesome, but they are pretty small. So I'm going to show you how I can kind of sometimes put them together. So I'm going to take 3 of these beads at the same time. And I'm going to hold them in my fingers. Let me see if I can show you with the camera. I'm going to hold them in my fingers like this and make a little stack of them. And then I can string through all 3 of them at the same time. And that kind of speeds it up for me a little bit. So some people are using blue. Some people are using pink. You can use whatever color you want to. You don't have to do the same pattern as me. But I just put 3 green ones. And now I'm putting 3 white ones. And I'm putting 3 red ones. And then I'm going to put 3 green ones. And can you guess what I'm going to put next? 3 white ones and 3 red ones. So I am going with the pattern this time, and I'm doing 3 of each color at a time, and I'm going to make some stripes with my bracelet. If you're going to add a charm to your bracelet, you want to make about half of your bracelet and then stop and put the charm and then make the other half of your bracelet. So I have green, white, and red. And then I have green, white, and red again. This is also some colors of a couple of different flags I know of too. So that's kind of fun. Now, bracelets are really a great gift because it's like, hey, I was thinking of you and I made you this. And I think those kind of gifts are really thoughtful and very nice. So they're fun to just give to a friend or a teacher, an aunt or uncle. Bracelets are very popular right now, so I don't think you can go wrong giving a bracelet to anybody. You could even give a bracelet to an NFL player and maybe they will fall in love with you. I'm just saying. There's lots of choices. Or you can be a singer and you can give a bracelet to an NFL player and then you can fall in love. So while I'm making this bracelet and I'm keeping track of my pattern, I'm going green, white, red, green, white, red, green, white, red, and I'm just going to keep going with that pattern until I'm about halfway, and then I'm going to put one of those nice charms on. So again, the way that I'm kind of speeding this up so I don't have to do one bead at a time since these are so small and they're so skinny, is I'm stacking them up into a group of 3, and then I'm stringing them on. And if you have a grown-up nearby and you have a needle that fits this elastic, you can even use a needle and it goes even faster, but I don't happen to have a needle right now and I think I'm doing just fine. So I'm following that red, white, green pattern. I'm pretty close to halfway, but not halfway yet. Now your wrist is probably going to be a lot smaller than mine, so your halfway is going to come a lot sooner than my halfway is. So keep that in mind when you're making. I'm hoping some of you are making bracelets along with me, but if you're not, you can always watch this video later. You can go to the store and get your supplies if you need them, and then you can come back and watch this video and you can make it just the way you want it. So I'm glad that all of you are here today. Red. Okay, I'm going to say I'm at the halfway point. If I were to wrap that around my wrist, it's about halfway around my wrist. So I'm going to stop here and I'm going to add a charm. I'm going to add this peppermint, spearmint, fun little candy-like charm. And I'm just going to string it onto my string, onto my elastic. Ooh, nice. And it just adds some extra dimension and it's pretty fun. And then I'm going to keep going with my pattern. So I'm going to go with my green next because I have white, red, and then on this side I'm going to put green. And I'm just doing a pattern right now where I put 3 of each color and I stack them in my fingers and then I bead through all 3 of them at the same time. So green, white, red. So the worst part about making bracelets is when you get to the end, especially with this clear elastic, you have to be really careful because if you try to make a knot and you pull your knot too tight, they will go everywhere. I know this from experience because I broke a bracelet last night when I was playing bracelets and I spilled beads all over my room. So if your beads fall off or if your elastic breaks, you can just start over. It happens. Happens to the best of us. We got plenty of time to hang out and make bracelets together. So if I'm going a little faster than you are, that's okay, because you can always watch this again later too. So I'm getting pretty good at making my pattern. I'm curious to know what other colors everybody else is using. So I don't know if you would count this as a charm. I usually think about charms are the ones that have like the little pieces of silver attached to them that kind of dangle a little further. So I'm not going to use a charm with this one. I'm just going to use this extra little piece to give it some cool pizzazz. So someone else is using red and white, which I bet is going to look kind of candy cane-like. That's probably going to be really cool. And you don't have to do a pattern. So sometimes you can make bracelets a lot faster if you just go really random and throw whatever beads of the colors that you like on, and it ends up looking really cool too. So I see some more people using red, green, and white, like I am. And I bet we're all going to have different but cool bracelets. And I love it when we all use the same materials and end up with things that are totally different. That's pretty fun. Means we got a lot of creativity in this group. So I'm going to keep going. And remember, I stopped about halfway to put that little candy piece on there. And then I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to show you how to stop the bracelet and carefully tie a knot so that we don't spill our beads all over the place. And we have a cool bracelet. So let's see how I'm doing. If I fold this in half, I can see how close I am to being finished. Looks like I still have a couple more rounds before I'm matched up to the other side. So I'm going to keep going with my pattern. Green, white, red, green, white, red. In my pattern, I'm doing 3 of each before I change to the next color. Ooh, someone's using red, white, and blue. That sounds like a fun idea too. That sounds like a different flag I know of. So red, white, and green, red, green, and white. You can add on charms too if you want to. Christmas colors, that's what I'm going for on this first one. And I just love making lots and lots of bracelets and then putting them all over my wrists so that I have lots of cool bracelets on. And I have lots of different color bracelets, so I can wear different stacks on different days. I don't know if you believe this, but I even dressed up like a bracelet for Halloween this year. That's how obsessed with bracelets I am right now. So someone in the chat is using rainbow. I bet that's going to be a cool color combo. And it looks like I have one more stack and then I'm back to where I began. So I need 3 more reds and then I'm ready to tie my knot. 3 more reds. And using this clear elastic, I'm going to warn you again because I did it last night. Got to be really careful when you're tying your knot. So this piece of tape helped me and it kept all of my beads from slipping off, but I'm done with it now. So you can take it off. You can either cut it off or apparently I can just rip it off. And then I have my 2 ends. So if you're done and you're ready, you can kind of watch and we'll make this knot together. But if you're not ready yet, that's okay. We'll do this again. So I have my 2 ends and I have my right hand and my left hand. And I'm going to put the right over the left. And then it goes under. And I pull it, not super, super tight, but just enough to make that little cross with the elastic. And then I do right over left again. And this is what we call a square knot. Now here, I do need to pull it tight, but I need to be careful. So see how I'm pinching it with my fingers on the side where the jewelry is, where the beads are, and not just the 2 pieces that I pulled. So I'm going to kind of stretch these, but I'm being careful so that I don't spill my beads all over the place. Uh-oh, we got a broken bracelet in the chat. It happens, I promise. But you just have to be real patient with yourself and try again, and you'll get it. So this clear elastic, I'm going to do 1 more knot by doing right over left. And then I'm going to keep gently but strongly pulling on all 4 of these pieces of plastic, not just the 2 tails, but also on the 2 parts that are attached to the beads. And then eventually you're going to see that knot kind of settle down and become a good knot. That's not going anywhere. Did you hear that? That's not going anywhere. So punny. So this looks pretty good. Let me see if I can show you. I was able to tighten my knot enough. There we go. There we go. I was able to tighten my knot enough so that it's not slipping apart. And then I know that it's strong enough and it's going to hold. And I can stretch it a little bit just to double check it. And then I'm ready to cut this extra stuff off. I like to leave just a tiny little piece. And what's nice is that you can kind of hide it by making the beads go over top of it. And if you happen to have any little bit of white craft glue of any kind, or sequins glue or charm glue or anything like that, you can put a little dot of glue on the knot. And that's just going to give it some extra hold just in case, so that it doesn't break apart. So that was my first Christmas bracelet. And I made this one using the ornament kit. And I used this extra cool little candy charm in it. You can use whatever charms you want to. And you don't even need to make Christmas bracelets or holiday bracelets right now. If you just want to make other kinds of bracelets, you can do that. So these kits are great, not just for the holidays, but I love having all these beads to make all different kinds of bracelets too. So feel free to use whatever you want. And this was my first bracelet. It's super cute. And that elastic just stretches and it can join my stack. I got a cool stack going on here. So this one on my hand, I made using just these beads that are kind of more like barrels. They kind of look like a barrel if you ask me. An Irish bracelet. I agree, because these beads almost look orange. They are red, but they do kind of almost look orange. So, I mean, I have red hair and have some Irish in my family. So I think that Irish bracelet is appropriate for me too. All right, so these are great. And these are a whole bunch more of the different kinds of bracelets you can make with that ornament stack. So this one, notice I have that little charm on there. And then this one is another type of bracelet we can make that has these white clasps. So they're these little plastic clasps. So if you don't want to pull them on and off, if you want to open and close your bracelet, you can do it that way too. And I'll show you how to use those clasps in one of our next bracelets. But here's a bunch of different things. Here's another one with that candy. Oh, that's the one we just made. But I put the candy on this one too. And I used some of those silver pieces also to kind of make it sparkle. So there are lots of different bracelets you can make with that same exact kit. So I'm going to put that kit to the side, and then I'm going to take out my super colorful kit, which is the stocking kit. And the stocking kit has different charms again. Make sure that my light's not crazy on that. Has different charms. So there's a charm that says Merry, and it's kind of bright and rainbowy, which I like. There's a cool wreath. And this is seriously my favorite charm, is like this disco ball. So this next bracelet that I'm going to make is going to be something kind of fun and festive that maybe I could wear on New Year's, or that I could give to a friend for New Year's. So that's the next bracelet that I'm going to make. It's going to be something a lot more colorful. But if you want to pull out red and white ones and keep going with your red and white and your red and white and green theme, you can keep making those. Or if you want to pull out just the blue ones, you can make a cool Hanukkah bracelet with some blue and yellow, or some blue and silver, or some blue and white. So you can make your own Hanukkah stack too from the stocking, which is really cool. So I'm going to be crazy, and I am going to pick out just colors I like and put them on my plate. And I'm going to go random. I'm not going to try to make a pattern. I'm going to go random, and we'll see how this turns out. So tell me what you're going to do this time. Are you going to work with the same colors? Are you going to work with different colors? I don't even know which kit you have. You might even have a different kit than the one I have. I saw another one of the kits that have some of those letter beads in them too. So they have some green, white, and red colors. And then they have the letter beads so you can spell out words and things too. Those would make really cool presents for people. Maybe you got a secret someone exchange coming up. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these silver ones too because they're cool. So I'm just putting a whole mix onto my white paper plate because I don't want all my beads to roll away. You probably saw those ones that weren't on my plate. Ooh, someone else has the stocking kit, so they're going to make the same kind as me. That's fun. And then you have this bundle of elastic. So this bundle of elastic is wrapped up pretty nicely, so I got to unwind it. Now, I actually like this white elastic a lot better than the clear one because it's a lot stretchier and the knots end up being tighter. So you're less likely to break this bracelet. So if you happen to break the last bracelet by accidentally stretching it too hard, you're probably not going to be able to break this one. This one's going to be a lot better. I also like this white elastic because if you're making bracelets for people, you don't always know what size people's wrists are going to be, especially if you're making for a grown-up. It's not going to be the same size as you, so you're not really sure how big to make it. Well, this string is really nice because it stretches a lot. So it's going to be able to be a much bigger bracelet, even if it doesn't have that many beads on it. So it can fit lots of different people's wrists, which I think is going to be nice. So friendship bracelets are always fun and friendship bracelets are always in style. And while we're talking about friendship bracelets, I have another class online where you can make these ornaments. So if you happen to go to a concert this year and maybe you traded bracelets with people, or like me, you went to a movie and you traded bracelets with people, then you can make a cool ornament like this and kind of put some of those bracelets in there and just capture that idea of, I remember that time when I did that. That was so fun. So maybe it can be a gift to somebody else, like, hey, I made you a couple bracelets. Here they are in a cute ornament or something like that. So that's all fun. Now, the only thing, I've been telling you all the good stuff about the white stretchy elastic. The only thing is that sometimes it gets a little fuzzy at the top because it's made out of fibers. So if it starts getting fuzzy and you can't get your beads on, you just give it a little trim with your scissors and you're good to go. So I'm going for random and I'm just going to randomly pick and I'm going to randomly string them on. Now this time I'm just leaving them on here, but if you are sharing with somebody, go ahead and cut a piece and then put a little piece of tape as like a flag to keep your beads from slipping off. And I'm just going to randomly start putting things. I'm not going to care what order. If you see me dropping them, it's probably just because I literally dropped them, not because I'm dropping them on purpose, because they're tiny. So I'm not really paying attention. I'm trying hard not to make a pattern, but my brain loves making patterns. So I'm trying hard to do this as randomly as I can without making a pattern. And like I was telling you before, if your end starts getting a little too frayed, you just take your scissors and cut just a little bit off at the top just to give you another straight piece. And then you're ready to go to keep adding more beads. I am going to put the disco ball charm on this one. So I'm going to go about halfway and then I'm going to stop and I'm going to put my charm on and then I'm going to keep finishing. So look at me, I'm so random. That's not a pattern. So I'm just going to keep going and kind of blindly putting beads on and see what happens. Trying not to control the pattern and just going with it. I wonder who else is doing a random bracelet this time, or if you're working on a pattern still. I do like patterns, but I'm trying to be crazy and random. This looks good so far. I think I need another silver bead in there to spice it up. And then I'm probably getting pretty close to halfway. Let me test it by putting it on my wrist. I'm pretty close to halfway. Okay. So I'm going to put about 3 or 4 more beads on, and then I'm going to call it halfway. Okay. So this is about halfway across my wrist. And then I'm going to find my disco ball bead. Oops. And there's something on here that we call a jump ring. A jump ring is this extra little piece of silver at the top. And I'm going to slide it through the top ring so that it dangles a little bit. Ooh, yeah. And then you got some fun. You got some disco. You got some cool lights going. And then I'm going to keep going and add more random beads to the other side. Oops. And if your string gets too furry, and you just snip a little bit more off, and then you're good to keep beading. There are lots of different size pieces of elastic and lots of different size beads, but you always got to make sure that you have beads that have holes that are bigger than the elastic you're working with, or else you're never going to be able to get those on. But we're doing pretty good so far. Hope you are too. I'm trying real hard to just put random beads and not try to make a pattern. I don't know why that's so hard for my brain. My brain just really wants to make a pattern, but I'm trying hard not to. I should like close my eyes and just pick without looking at all. That would be a good idea. So I'm going to keep going on this side in order to have enough beads to even it out. And then I'll show you how to tie a knot with this white elastic. And this knot's going to be a little bit easier to tie. Whoa, I almost just lost some beads there. So I'm holding this up to see, and it looks like I still got a little bit left to go before I make it back up there. Getting a fuzzy little piece. Snip. Keep going. I love making bracelets. I think it's such a good stress reliever to just sit, and you have to focus on something because you have to focus to be able to beat them, but you don't have to focus on anything like what's going on in your day or your world. You can just focus on beads and making pretty things. And that's fun and very relaxing to me. All right, I'm getting close. I'm going to check it out, see how I'm doing. And wow, look at that. That's exactly halfway. Okay, so now that I'm here and I'm done, I can move these beads down so I don't use up too much elastic. So I'm going to kind of slide everything down since it's still attached. Slide everything down. There we go. And then I have this much to be able to cut myself a knot. Now this elastic is going to be much stretchier and much easier to tie a knot with than the clear elastic, but you can't see the clear elastic, so there's pros to both of them. So with this one, I'm going to take my right over my left and under and pull it. And then I'm going to do my right over my left and through to make that knot. Now this time you can pretty much pull as tight as you want to, and it shouldn't bust up on you. There we go. Look at that. So this is so fun and it's so colorful and it's got that extra little disco ball on it. So that would be a really sweet gift to give to somebody. If you know somebody who especially is really into disco right now, with all the cool decorations for your room and things. I'm gonna, when I cut this, I like to kind of pull it away because it is so stretchy, and then cut, and it snaps back, and there I go. So I can add that to my collection. If you have more than one stocking, you can make more than one disco bracelet, and you can just keep adding to your stack and keep going and keep going. And if you have more than one kind of kit, if you have the ornament and you have the stocking, you can even put all of those together in order to make some really cool designs with all the different kinds of beads. So that is pretty much how we're doing these bracelets. And I'm going to do one more if you want to stick around with me and make one more so that you can make a real stack with lots of cool colors. I'm going to use this white elastic again. And I'm actually going to show you how to use these white fasteners. So I've made, let's see, where did I put them? Oh, here they are. I made this one using that white fastener, and then it pops open and snaps closed. So this is what I'm going to show you how to make this time. And the way you're going to do it is if you are crafting with someone else and you want to share the elastic, I'm going to cut more than my wrist, about 3 inches more than how long my wrist is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this white piece on, and I'm going to put it so that this snap part is on the outside. Whoa. I think what I'm going to do, actually, changing my mind, I'm going to make a knot first. So I'm going to do left over, right over left, and right over left to make a knot. And I'm going to do it one more time to make my knot just a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to string it on my string. And I'll show you when I'm done so that you can make sure you do it correctly. But you want to put it so that the snap part faces the outside. I'm having a hard time. Oh, there we go. So watch this. Here's where my knot is. Here's the snap part. I'm going to put it like this because when I connect it together, that's where I want the snap to be. And then I made this knot so that it doesn't come through here, but you can cut that extra tail part off. And look, this hides my knot. So that's kind of fun. Then I'm going to put a bunch of beads. And then when I'm close to the end or when I'm at the end, I'm going to put the other half, and I'll show you how to do that. And we can snap these together. Now I'm going to go for this one with just like one solid color. And I think I'm going to go for blue. And I'm just going to do a solid blue bracelet. Not going to do anything too funky. Just solid blue. So I'm going to put a bunch of blue beads onto my paper plate so I can grab them quickly. Oh, someone's going to do red and black. That sounds fun. This kit has some really cool colors, so you can do some crazy, cool, interesting things with it. So I have my clasp down here, and notice how it's facing out. And then I'm going to put all kinds of blue beads onto my string. If my string gets fuzzy, I'm going to snip it down a little bit and get myself another good piece so that I can easily string these beads on here. And I'm just going to make a blue, 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 blue bracelet. I'm going to add all the blue beads. I don't really know how many beads it's going to take me because I'm just not really sure. But this white elastic is great because it can stretch and fit lots of different people. Sometimes I find a bead that like doesn't actually have a hole in it. So I had to put that off to the side. Or sometimes you might get two beads that are stuck together. That's kind of fun. Maybe that's good luck. So I'm just going to keep stringing all of these blue beads on here. And while you're watching me, I hope that you come back. We have 5 more days of winter workshops. So I hope that you come back. There's some more cool, if you like that disco ball bracelet, there's a disco ornament coming up. And if you missed a couple of the days at the beginning, you can go back and you can make a penguin popsicle. You can make a peppermint photo holder. You can play with clay. There's lots of different projects to do. So grab some supplies. You can print off those directions, or you can watch any of the videos that are already on there. And you can make that. And then if you want to make this ornament, like I was telling you about before, you can go find that class on YouTube and you can make an ornament and give it to somebody, or keep it for yourself if you want to have a special memory that you'll hang up on your tree every year. So I need to make a little snip because it's getting fuzzy. There we go. And then I'll be able to do a little bit better with my beading. So you're welcome to go if you don't want to make a third bracelet, but thank you so much for coming. Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Thanks for playing with us. That was fun. So I'm going to finish up this blue bracelet and I'm going to show you how to use these clasps just in case anybody wants to use the clasps. And then you have lots of beads to play with. So I expect to see super fun stacks of bracelets. I've got so many beads. You could make at least 10 bracelets out of these, I think, if not more. So these are really awesome kits and I love how colorful and fun they are. And like I said, they don't have to be for holidays. These can be for anything, for a birthday, for just, hey, you're my bud. Let's wear fun friendship bracelets. For anything. All right, let's see how I'm doing. Oh, that's pretty good. So I have just a little bit left to go around my wrist. You might be done because your wrist might be smaller than mine. But I have just a little bit more to go. I'm going to add some more beads and then I'm going to show you how to put that final clasp on. And that's it for today. So here comes a couple more blue beads. Oops. There we go. I think maybe 3 more, and then I'm going to show you the clasp. There we go. All right. So when we add this other piece, there are 2 different pieces. There's the part that has this extra chunk, and then there's the part that's kind of like what it snaps into that doesn't have that chunk. So make sure you have one of this side and one of this side. And then I need to string it on so that the wider side is towards the end of my string, because you're going to want to make these go around to be able to snap to each other. And then again, in order to hold this in, I need to tie knots. So I'm pulling this and stretching it, and I'm going to tie right over left and make a knot. And then I'm going to do right over left and I'm going to make another knot and try and put it right on top of that one I just had. There we go. And maybe one more for good luck. And then I can cut off this extra piece of tail. And what's nice about these clasps is that it hides those knots really nicely. You can't even see my knots anymore because of these. So these are really fun and easy to make with these clasps, and all of these different kits come with a couple of those clasps too. So you can either make straight up elastic bracelets, or you can make bracelets with beautiful clasps. So I'm so glad that you came. This was really fun, and please join us again for the rest of Winter Workshop until December 12th. And you can come back anytime you want to and watch any of the videos. So thanks for coming. It was good to make crafts with you this afternoon, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.